Smarter, Better, Faster Nootropics Guide is a surgical nootropics protocol book, right? Like I've always said, like in business and in life, if you have the strategy, you can just execute the strategy. So much time that people take to try to learn things or try to reach particular outcomes in life has to do with them trying to figure out the protocol, them trying to figure out the strategy, them trying to figure out how the world works so they can interact with it, right? It's the construction worker that's not too good in construction learning how bricks are laid, learning how caulk is placed, learning all this stuff. If somebody came in and said, dude, look, all you have to do is put the caulk in this measurement in this specific area, here's the amount of bricks you have to lay, here's how you bond them, here's how you do this, this, and this, the person could go and just engage in the thing. And the same is true with nootropics. So many people waste a lot of time, right? That's because nootropics information is disparate. That's one of the pain points we use to sell a product. Trying to find information about nootropics. Which stacks do I take? You know, can I take phenibut with anything? How do I take modafinil and caffeine together without getting anxiety? How do I do that? Can I microdose any of these compounds? Is it better for me? Why do I get headaches when I take racetams? Can I avoid that? Is there a way to improve blood flow when I'm taking oxyracetam? Can I combine Noopept and phenylpiracetam, and in what doses for the best effects with what that'll increase cerebral oxygen to make the effect better? We lay it all out in the most powerful nootropics protocol guide on the planet. Smarter, Better, Faster. Save $5 if you've been waiting to pull the trigger by using the coupon code 5. By the way, that applies also to our stack, which, by the way, I mean, look, I like the Siltep guys. I think Natural Stacks is a cool company. I like how they're transparent about everything, and their stacks are pretty cool. But the notion of artichoke extract and forskolin together being like a natural modafinil has always seemed a little, iffy to me, frankly. For some people, that might be the case. But the real modafinil stack that's comprised of natural ingredients is uridine monophosphate. I'm going to give you a gem here. CDP choline and artichoke extract. The best part about that is we put it in a stack and added some Bacopa monnieri for some balance and some neurite outgrowth and memory facilitation over time. And that stack is called Cortex. Also save $5 on Cortex by using the coupon code 5. Get powerful nootropic products at livecortex.com. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Theacrine required an epic nightly intro like that because that's how incredible it is. So I've been waiting to do a video on Theacrine because I've been testing it for about a month and a half. I got it, from Amazon as like one of the last batch of products that Powder City has because they officially likely do business under a different name or something or have dissolved. And they were facing like a lawsuit some time ago from some research chemical or some otherwise hard drug that they were selling that a kid took and died from or something. And but they're a nootropics powder. They were a nootropic, formerly a nootropics powder company, and they sold any number of different things, and they've got very many safe compounds that they sell. Most of them. Epic coffee break. And one of them is Theacrine. Theacrine. Now let me just first start off by making a statement about Theacrine. The following statement about Theacrine. Theacrine is underrated. I do not hear nootropics folks talking about Theacrine. I do not hear people raving about Theacrine. I do not hear people talking about taking Theacrine relatively regularly with caffeine or with theine as part of the regular strategy. I do not hear people talking about the inflammatory and the anti-inflammatory effects, the liver improvement, the liver functionality effects, how it affects glutathione and other detox chemicals. I don't hear them talking about how it improves dopamine signaling like caffeine does through adenosine signaling. I just don't hear about it. And I'm really wondering why. So I've been taking Theacrine for the last month and a half to sort of see how I can cycle on and off of it, to see if it's sustainable, to see what it stacks well with, to see what the half-life is. And I've come back to report to you guys on the effects. Number one, I'm not hyperbolic. I like to be very logical with you guys. In my month and a half, which I admittedly I probably need about 6 months to continue experimenting, but what I can say so far is that I am thoroughly impressed with Theacrine. I'm thoroughly impressed. The dose range on Theacrine is anywhere from 25 to 200 milligrams. Okay, 200 is pretty high, but some people might require 200 milligrams. I take 25 to 50 milligrams, and that's where I think you should start if you haven't taken it. Okay, I just want to get the dose range out of the way. You could go up to 100, you can go up to 150, you can go up to 200. It might be a little overstimulating like caffeine might be at those quantities. But just titrate accordingly and start small. That's kind of the dose range, 25 to 200. The idea behind Theacrine is that it is effectively an analog of caffeine, right? But it's not like it was chemically synthesized in a lab from caffeine, like, I don't know, phenylpiracetam or something might be from piracetam, right? Or, you know, like whatever, something else that you put a methyl or phenyl group onto it and you change it. You put acetic acid to L-carnitine and make acetyl L-carnitine. It's different. Theacrine is synthesized, it basically accumulates in a plant. You know, there's a plant, and that plant is known for a whole bunch of things, but mostly taking the leaves and making tea out of them. I wrote this down, the species of the plant. What is the species of? The species plant is called the camellia plants. Camellia plants. There's a bunch of different species apparently of the camellia plants. And what happens is caffeine is abundant in that plant, and throughout the life cycle of the plant, caffeine metabolizes into theacrine. But then after it metabolizes into theacrine, there's no other steps in sort of metabolic process or growth process or accumulation process of the plant. There's no other, significant chemical changes in that plant as it grows. So theacrine just accumulates in the plant. Then, however, it's extracted. I have no idea how theacrine gets extracted from the plant and then put into supplements. I mean, that's something for like, nutraceutical labs type of deal. The effects are similar to caffeine. But here's like the incredible part about it. Number one, you need substantially less of it. You can get 25 to 50 milligrams of it and it'd be equal to the effect of 200 or so milligrams of caffeine, but better. People talk about taking caffeine and then theanine together to balance out the stimulatory effects of caffeine. With theacrine, as far as I can tell, in my own personal experience, and I've read some anecdotal reports of other people saying the same thing, you don't really need the theanine to balance the stimulation out. In other words, this is a compound that you can take that gives you the stimulation, but does not overtax that anxiety system, rendering the need for something like L-theanine to balance out the extra stimulation useless. You don't even need it. So its effects are more pronounced at speeding up the brain. It binds to adenosine receptors. It facilitates adenosine, it works on adenosine signaling just like caffeine does. So it prevents tiredness and gets the brain to actually function good and have good solid energy. And it doesn't do so at the cost of your calmness. So you stay good and calm, but you've got functional brain energy. This stuff is amazing. Another interesting fact about it is that it enhances dopamine signaling and causes the brain to release a little more dopamine, just like caffeine does, through adenosine signaling, right? So it's motivating. I mean, when it onsets for me, which it onsets at about, it's like 10, 15 minutes. It's seemingly quick, 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and you're like, wow, this is really affecting me. Like, I'm good here. You don't even need your epic coffee break. The coffees just taste great. One of the other really interesting things about it is that theacrine is more soluble than caffeine. In fact, it's twice as soluble as caffeine. Solubility, refers to the notion of how easily it absorbs into your bloodstream and brain and affects your body. Theacrine has nearly double the solubility, a solubizing effect, as caffeine, rendering it more effective than caffeine. And perhaps the most interesting thing about it, there's a couple more additional interesting things. Number one, there was a rat study that demonstrated that it positively affected an impaired rat's liver by facilitating glutathione, a detox chemical. It's also been demonstrated to be anti-inflammatory. So that's like another incredibly awesome benefit, which kind of puts it in, it really absolutely puts it into the nootropics group. You've got all these positive benefits, and it helps the liver function well, and it's anti-inflammatory. It doesn't get better than that. But I think one of the most interesting things, especially as it relates to frequent dosing or trying to add Theacrine to your daily nootropic stack or your weekly nootropic stack, or something you want to take sustainably over time because you like the effects of it. That's kind of where I'm at with Theacrine. I'm really putting it up there in the top 10, and that's saying a lot. Is that there's a rat study, and I've noticed in my own anecdotal experience, that demonstrates that after 7 days of taking Theacrine, there is no tolerance. All right, so guys, look, I mean, I'm hyping it up, maybe, but I'm that excited about it. I've been into this game for 8.5 years, going on 9 years taking nootropics. And, you know, I've never taken Theacrine in the past because there's just so much to experiment with. So I'm always experimenting with all manner of different things to try to figure things out. And I found my stacks that really, really work well, and I tend to stick to them. But man, I gotta say, this stuff is incredible. I would highly suggest getting it. You know, you can get it on Amazon from Powder City's like last bit of batches from it. I think they've got like some product they still got to sell. I have no affiliation with them, but look, that's where I found it. Not sure if Nootropics Depot or Nootropics Source or Serotropic or any of these other Lift Mode, other trustable sources have it. You might want to check that out. But yeah, my general recommendation is absolutely go get yourself some Theacrine. Start with 25 milligrams, move your way up to 50 or 100 if you absolutely need to, and see where you're at. I am thoroughly impressed, and I 100% classify Theacrine as an official nootropic. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, Ryan here. Thanks for watching. But if you want to take your brain game to the next level, you want to increase your focus, your verbal fluency, your mental energy, your ability to sit down and crank out work for hours at a time, secure a bottle of the Cortex Nootropic stack. Our customers are clear. This is the best pre-made stack on the planet. And hey, speaking of stacks, if you really want to take your nootropic stack game to the next level, secure the Smarter, Better, Faster book. This is a surgical guide to using nootropics for total mental dominance. You talk about stacks, we got stacks in there. Endless amounts of stacks, power stacks, verbal fluency stacks, working memory stacks. We've got modafinil strategies and everything else you can think of to include a whole sector on nootropics questions answered. Smarter, Better, Faster, the most powerful nootropics guide on the planet. livecortex.com. That's livecortex.com. We'll see you over there.